Hello, I'm Brandy Buss. I'm going to talk about the differences between the small and large intestine when it comes to imaging the body. So here's a picture from Complete Anatomy. This black mark here is for the umbilicus so that we know where the different quadrants are in the abdomen. So that's found at the L3, L4 spinal level. So for the small intestines, we have the duodenum, which will continue on into the jejunum here, found in the left upper quadrant, and then that will continue on down into the ileum in the right lower quadrant, which will continue on into the large intestine. So the differences between the ileum and jejunum are mostly found in the plicae circularis, which are there to help increase the surface area in the small intestine for nutrient absorption. That's really seen in contrast, which will be in the next image. And then the large intestine here is just framing the small intestine and the abdominal cavity in general. And then so it ends with the sigmoid colon here behind the small intestine and the rectum. So here is a image with contrast showing the lumen of the small intestine. So you can see the feathering that's found in mostly the jejunum and less so in the ileum. And that's just, again, from the plicae circularis. And so that's one of the best way to see, particularly on x-ray, the difference in the jejunum and ileum, other than just the finding the jejunum in the left upper quadrant and the ileum in the right lower quadrant. And then here's an image for the large intestine, and you can see it's just framing the abdominal cavity. You can see the hepatic flexure here in the right upper quadrant, splenic flexure in the left upper quadrant. You can see the pouching here. These are called haustra, and this is also a good image to see the 6-9 rule, 3-6-9 rule. So here's the ileum here connecting into the large intestine, and so you can see the size difference between those two parts of the body. So the ileum and small intestine in general is about 3 centimeters in diameter, while the large intestine is 6 centimeters, and then the rectum here is approximately 9 centimeters. So again, that's known as the 3-6-9 rule, and that's how you can really tell it if there's a blockage that's leading to distension in parts of the small intestine or large intestine, just if there's any variation from that general rule. And so now that we've talked about the normal anatomy, I wanted to talk about if you see images that don't meet what you expect. So there's a surgical procedure called it Roux-en-Y. So this will bypass the main volume of the stomach, but will also maintain a patent connection with the duodenum, so you can still get the benefits of the pancreatic and liver digestive juices. But the entry of that part is delayed further down, so you will see some restriction in nutrient absorption. And so just the different parts here, this is the gastric pouch, then that will continue in what is known as the roux limb, and then we have the duodenum part known as the bilopancreatic limb, and then those meet up into the common channel, which will then flow into the large intestine as normal. So here's an image here. So the white arrows here are pointing to the gastric pouch. And then this is the roux limb here, indicated by the black arrows, and that continues on down. You can see with the contrast. It'll flow normally. And then the white arrowed head here is the blind jejunal stump. So here's a CT with contrast. ES here is just excluded stomach, so you can see this patient swallowed some contrast, and so it's bypassing the stomach into the gastric pouch here and flowing normally into the jejunum. Another option for some variation is when a patient has a total colectomy. This is where the entirety of the large intestine is removed from the body, and a connection between the ileum and the rectum is formed. So here's an image of that. You can see just the missing large intestine, and the contrast is flowing from it throughout the course of the small intestine. And then the yellow arrow indicates the ileal J pouch, and the anastomosis here with the rectum. And so then here are my sources. And that's it. Thank you.